Have you been endeavoring to be an entrepreneur, but most importantly, an entrepreneur in the kingdom? You know that you have gifts and talents and God has things for you. But we want you to stay tuned to watch this episode to really understand what is it like to be an entrepreneur in the kingdom of God.
Stay tuned. Dunamis, Dunamis woman, woman. Dunamis, Dunamis woman. Well, welcome to another episode of Dunamis Woman Today. Yes, I am Pastor D, and this is Ariel. We are mother-daughter duo of the trio, but we do have an awesome topic because what we're going to talk about today is not just a topic, it's our lifestyle. Ariel, what is the topic of our life?
How to be an entrepreneur in the kingdom.
Not for the kingdom, but in the kingdom.
Yes.
That is key, you all, because I believe, Ariel, a lot of people are striving and endeavoring to do for the kingdom.
Yes.
When you have to be in the kingdom.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is that like for you? Before I go on as a visionary kingdom leader and have been entrusted in this for a while, but as you have come to embrace this time and this platform and this endeavor in the kingdom, how has this literally transformed your thinking?
Well, I mean, before I go into transform, I think it's important to, what is the difference of for the kingdom versus in the kingdom?
Because first of all, I don't think that we really understand what the kingdom is all about.
Yes.
So it's a word that we use from a biblical term. So we're endeavoring to do something for. When I'm in it, it becomes a part of who I am.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because I have to be transformed. I have to now think like the kingdom, which is the principles of how Jesus lived and endeavored to show and teach his disciples.
Yes.
So everybody is not in the kingdom.
Right. And I think that for the kingdom mindset, you asked, like, how did it transform me and my thinking? You know, when people endeavor to be an entrepreneur for the kingdom, it's almost as if, you know, God, you need me to do this for, you know, your glory, for you. I'm on a mission. And that all is great, but it gets caught up into, I feel like it gets caught up into the me.
Yeah, it does.
You need me.
Right, like you're doing God a favor.
Like you're doing God a favor, right? Like
right.
you need me. And God does need us. But when you talk about being in the kingdom, to me, being an entrepreneur is not just so much that you need me, but I'm permitting you and allowing you to do a work in me as I am striving to build for your kingdom. Because at the end of the day, it's not about, you could choose anyone else. It doesn't have to be me.
It doesn't have to
and
be
so
me.
At the end of the day, I have to always know that I'm in it first before actually doing it for the kingdom. I have to really be in it. And that means that God is in me and he's taking me through an everyday process. And that is not something that I parade upon.
Oh, no.
I mean, I just want to be very clear. It's not something I'm like, ooh, I'm working for the kingdom of God today.
Well,
like it's a pressure.
But to be an entrepreneur in the kingdom, there's first of all, the process of you being crucified with Christ.
Yes.
That means you have to die to yourself.
Correct.
And so the endeavors that we do here at Dunamis Woman, it literally causes us to die first.
Correct.
You know, in other words, let me put it in simple terms. We do what we really don't want to do. It looks good. It looks nice. We look beautiful here in this blue. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of I don't want to's that become now my want to for Christ.
Yes.
And so it's literally not about my will. It's his will that has to be done. And with his will be done, then it's going to cause me to die that Christ may live on the inside of me.
Yes.
That's what the entrepreneur in the kingdom, because it's really about his vision.
Yes.
It's his vision. He downloads, he speaks, he gives a vision, he shows. We move on that. He reveals. The money might not be there. The money ain't. Okay. Let me say that. The money is not there, at that moment in time. You don't see how it's going to happen. It deems to be impossible because that's the way it is in the natural.
Mm-hmm.
You can never fathom, how could this happen?
Yes.
But he will do things, show you things spiritually that now the spirit realm has to become manifested in the natural realm. And that's what being in the kingdom and entrepreneur for, as opposed to when you for the kingdom, you're taking the natural substance and now you take it and trying to make it spiritual.
Yeah. I mean, because you're operating out of your own mind. You're operating out of...
Yeah.
This is, like I said, my natural background, what I naturally know how to do. And let me just throw, kingdom and God on it. And it's for the kingdom. But I love the fact that you talked about the provision aspect because, you are operating in bringing to life a vision that God has downloaded. And he does give us provision for anything that I believe that he gives us. But that provision doesn't have a certain amount on it.
And it's not always right away.
No, I'm just saying it has no amount. It has no, okay, yes, it's going to be $1 million.
It's not dollar based.
It's not dollar based. That provision, we have allowed provision to take place in our life that wasn't even monetary to help us get to where we are today. And I think that being an entrepreneur, in the kingdom, we had to go through a humbling process because that provision wasn't just like, oh, okay, here's a house or here's a car or whatever the case may be. That provision just may have been, the judge continue to say, case dismissed. Well, case dismissed. For you to keep a house that we could stay in. You know what I'm saying?
And that's not an if, that is a literal.
Yeah.
Because in the kingdom, let me just tell you a little backdrop of one of the millions of stories. Because you thinking it's going one way, but then something on this aspect turns a totally different way. So as what she's alluding to is literally, it came to a point where, and as a self-sufficient woman, working my entrepreneurship, working my vision, working what I wanted to do. I've always been an entrepreneur where money flowed that I was able to even not take care of you all, but raise you all in a very sense of comfortability. You know what I'm saying? So I had got accustomed to that, things just flowing, but it was my vision. It was what I was endeavoring, but it was a good work. Then the kingdom comes and says, now I'm here. I don't know what that looks like. So what that has to do is now God is saying, hey, let me take you through a whole process because Davetta, you think you're trusting me, but you're trusting the things that came your way out of your vision, out of your goals, out of your endeavors. And when you do that, it's going to work. But now he says, do my vision. And things was totally going different than what I was accustomed to. However, his favor abounded because the trust and the anxiety that I did not realize I had in my soul, he had to first work that out. And how did he do that? Ariel's when I couldn't pay the mortgage anymore. I'm the type of woman, I'm not just a bill payer, but I pay bills to continue to live more efficiently. In other words, I do it ahead of time. So if the mortgage is due on the 1st, by the 15th of the previous month or the 1st of the previous month is already paid for 2 or 3 months. Right. When you get accustomed to that and you can't do it, at the end of the day, it makes you think less than yourself because that's what I was thinking.
Yes.
I'm thinking less of myself now. So he said, you're not trusting me. You was trusting your own ability. And this is why even Dunamis is his ability, but I got to couple my ability with his ability, not try to bring him to this place. So he took us through me through a process that he proved himself. And this is why the word of God says that I have to prove myself and for him to prove himself. And that's based upon Romans 12 too. But when I lived in that home and the anxiety and the trust had to get out of me because I could not pay the mortgage. But what I did do in the kingdom, instead of building the church, I took that whole house and I arranged it as the church. I said, well, God, if they're going to take it, they're going to take it from you, not take it from me. So everything I have is now not for the kingdom. I'm giving it because I'm in the kingdom.
Right.
And this is why I believe in Matthew, he say, if you can give up your house, if you can give up your cars, if you can give up all those things for my name's sake, I'll give it to you 1,000-fold. Favor abounded, Ariel. When I was able to maintain that home for 7.5 years.
And I firmly believe that that's what being a good steward is. Being a good steward is not paying your bills on time and making sure everything is taken care of, but being a good steward is, like you said, giving it over but still taking care of it as if it is the ultimate living that God has necessarily given you. And many people will be like, oh man, I can't pay the bills, so forget it. You know what I'm saying? Or just cast it away. And being an entrepreneur, I think in the kingdom, we had to really learn how to be a good steward of the season in which we were in, with no murmuring, no complaining,
staying faithful, true to the cause.
Yeah, true to the cause, not feeling like inferior or comparing. Because I always tell people, being an entrepreneur, and I'm talking about a full-time entrepreneur. And I know people have their differences of what an entrepreneur is.
No employment
you
status.
You have no employment status.
No job.
No 401k you're living off of.
No hustle.
No hustle.
No backup.
Okay?
None.
So being a full-time entrepreneur, I always say it is the most difficult thing that I could have ever endured in my life. And I don't wish that process on anyone. And that's not even having faith. Okay? That's not even being in the kingdom. That's just straight full-time entrepreneurship, right? But then on top of, now I'm trusting God for my sustainability, for my living, and all these different things. And I'm building this vision. But then at the same time, I'm also having to stay grounded in my faith. It's that walk alone will make you want to question your faith sometimes.
And it does. However, there is a process to being an entrepreneur in the kingdom. And that first thing that we have to understand, which is that initial step to the process, is realize that this is how he taught his disciples how to pray in this manner. Change your mind and now think our Father. The first thing is there's nothing you can do in the kingdom that's solo.
Yes.
The kingdom doesn't ride solo. It always brings people there. Somebody as a leader, which in this case would be myself, have to take greater brunt than what you would have to take. So it's called like get on the clearance rack. You know what I'm saying? I take 100% of the brunt. You come in and you feel the 75% of the brunt. But that 25% you'll never know because God did not give you the download of the vision because that's where the really weight is. But you see the vision because it's being worked. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So in the kingdom and being an entrepreneur, you have to stay fixated on what he said. Regardless of what you see, it's about what he said. And even when I don't know how to communicate, which oftentimes I don't know how to communicate to you, coming on this movement with myself, whether you my daughter or not, you know what I'm saying? Because in the kingdom is not really mother and daughter.
No.
You know what I'm saying? That's why Jesus told the disciples, if you can't deny your mother and father and follow me,
right,
you're not worthy of me. So we can't get that fixation on, oh, this is my daughter. You made an independent, individual decision for Christ.
Right.
It's just he's using us in this mother-daughter to build the legacy. So the aspect of understanding, guess what? I have to make these choices, but I'm doing this for the sake of Christ.
Yeah.
And that's where the crucifixion is.
Yes, because I think your crucifixion, it was totally different than my crucifixion.
Everybody got their crucifixion.
Everyone has it, and even the disciples, some of them were entrepreneurs that he had to take off and really teach. But I like the fact that you mentioned that, really the vision of Dunamis woman, God gave that to you, not to me. So when you are with someone at fulfilling entrepreneurship in the kingdom, it took a while for me to really, submit to the vision that God has given you, and not just submit to it like, oh, okay, I don't like the way this looks, but knowing that you lead based upon what vision God has given you. And many times in entrepreneurship, someone can come in and try to change and alter your vision.
Almost
Does that make sense?
Oh, yes.
So it took me a while to really just step back and to be like, okay, God, this really isn't my vision per se. You didn't download this to myself, but I still made a decision and a self-sacrifice to be able to undergird and support you in the vision. And so I had to even learn my place of submission in a way. Does it make sense?
It does. And see, this is why being in the kingdom as opposed to for the kingdom, it really shifts your whole mindset. Because based upon what you're saying, if I had a mindset of for the kingdom, I would say, Ariel, you're supposed to submit to me. I'm the visionary. I'm your mother. I'm older than you. And that's where pride comes in.
Yeah.
So what I have to do and had to do, and steadily we do, even it doesn't matter that I birthed you. It don't matter that I'm your mother. In the kingdom says submit to one another.
Yes.
So I had to learn how to review you in a different manner to see you for your gifts, for who he made you to be, not who I birthed. This young woman really came out of my womb. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's mind blowing, not because, oh, you're so beautiful exterior wise, but I see how he has fearfully, wonderfully made you. And he's saying, Davetta, submit to that.
Right.
Not submit to her.
Yes.
Submit to that. And you're saying, submit to that. She's not just my mom. I just don't do what she say do to be doing it.
Right.
But do you realize, and I know you do, but we had to realize, Ariel, that this was our breaking process.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so put in the comment section, if you have been broken, just put, I've been broken. I've been broken. Because breaking takes many brokenness.
Yes. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And that's, being an entrepreneur in the kingdom is that breaking. That's, many people run away from that word submission. And submission is not submitting unto man. It's submitting
the mission and unto Christ.
Yes, submitting unto Christ. And the mission and the vision that he has given, to that man. And especially, I think we got to be mindful of who we're submitting to. But if you know that I knew through my own relationship with Christ that I was an intricate part to your vision. Does that make sense? That wasn't revealed through you. You didn't tell me and rear me to say, Ariel, you're an intricate part to my vision.
I had no idea. I wonder why I had you.
So, exactly.
But I see now.
So there was a point that in my own individuality, through my relationship with Christ, that had to be given to me through our relationship to help me understand that I'm an intricate part to your vision. So when I'm submitting, I'm not submitting to you, I'm submitting to Christ, because at the end of the day, my life, the path that he has given me, and people have tried to tell me contrary. People have tried to say, Ariel, well, don't you think you could be your own entrepreneur? Don't you think you could go out there and do your own thing? Which very well I could. But at the end of the day, for the path in which he has given me, to go through, like you said, the clearance rack, and to be in his kingdom and not just be out there of the world and in the world and operating for the kingdom, there's a process that he has to take me through for me to develop, for me to mature in Christ, for me to be able to transform in a lot of ways. And this is just the avenue. It's not because you're my mother.
No.
Does that make sense?
Right. However, it does make perfect sense. However, see, in the kingdom, you have to be able to see things from his lens and not ours.
Exactly.
So where you use the term submitting or however to the vision, it's not really for you or for myself or for anyone in the kingdom. It's how we submit to each other's life.
Yes.
Life, that's why I say it's a lifestyle. Life is your part of your suke, your breath. God breathes in us his breath. Our thinking, our inhale, our exhale is based upon his thoughts. So in the kingdom, now I see, regardless of it, why God called me to give you life.
Yes.
When you have your children in the kingdom, you will see why, as they grow, as they develop, as they mature, why he chose you to bring them life.
Yes.
This is why legacy building is so important here in the kingdom, because I have learned that in the kingdom, you just don't have children just to be having them.
Oh, no.
God has assigned. We don't want to be, as an entrepreneur in the kingdom, what we're really stating is we see the purpose of why life was given to us and positioned us in each other's lives.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I see why Allison is now deemed your sister. She's my daughter, and we can go with all the other positions, but we got to know how to utilize that in the kingdom because that was his choice. That was his mindset.
Yes.
And what the world says is just have kids and they go on vicariously.
Many people operate as an entrepreneur for the kingdom and forget their own kingdom.
And that's what I'm saying.
And that alone is I would say diabolical. That alone, it really is. Because it's like, how can, when you rear and you transform your mind and you gain understanding, and though we all have our own free will, but this is where it's like so easy for someone to say, well, you could have just did this, or you could have went out there, or you could did this. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't be who I am if I just went off doing my own thing. Now, I'm not saying it's nothing wrong because some people have to be a trailblazer to be able to begin and to start. But if there is already order, you know what I'm saying? Like if you as a healed mother, if you understanding the kingdom, if you actually are operating and building the kingdom within legacy and family, it's out of order for me to just go out there and just do whatever. Now, some people do because their parents aren't doing.
Well, see, but the thing is, the kingdom literally means royalty.
Yes.
Royalty is not because of the clothes you wear. Royalty is because the mindset you have that causes you to wear the clothes you wear.
Yes.
Let's go with Prince Harry. I'm thinking of him, Prince Harry and Meghan. He grew up in a royal environment, but at the end of the day, just because he is Prince Harry, the son of whoever that is, I don't want to mention the name, I mess him up. He get a check.
Yeah.
He ain't got to earn that. You know what I'm saying? It comes with who he is. Now, that gives him an ability to create his cause of what he lives for, which is based upon a vision. This is all kingdom. So he don't work to earn money. Money flows to him, but he was born into it. Why? But he also was born into the royal mindset. We have to change our mindset. This is why even when he chose to leave and go and him and his wife do his own thing, the biggest discrepancy was, are you going to still get this money that flowed to you? You know what I mean? So it wasn't the dispute of you can't do it. But there's an order and there's a standard, and those are principles that now he's fighting for to maintain, to maintain who he is,
right? In
spite of him wanting to now go and veer off with his wife to do some things.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know all the story, but that's the essence of it. So that's the way we are supposed to be as believers. I was born into royalty. This is why healing is so important, because the enemy, by the spirit of Pharaoh, and even for ourselves being Black people, as you all can see, we were victimized through slavery to diminish our royal mindset.
Yeah.
Because dunamis causes things to flow to you. Not because you say Jesus, not because you have a business you want to do to make money and buy all your stuff. It's because of who you are.
Yeah.
It's called favor.
Yeah.
Favor rests upon our life. And when I have favor, money comes. Yeah. When I have favor, health's maintained. Ariel, being an entrepreneur in the kingdom, I'm sure you know this, but even for myself, I lived without health insurance and could not go to the doctor for about 10 plus years.
Yeah.
But my worship became my health insurance. My mind, I had no worries. I had no fears. It taught me when I felt something in my body, my breast or whatever, I spoke to it. Devil, you a liar. I speak life over me. That's a mindset.
Yeah.
I can't get into the fear of, I had a mammogram. That's not my mindset.
Yeah.
My mindset is that my body belongs to him.
Yeah.
He needs me, so healing flows through me, emotionally, physically, and whatever try to comes my way as an opponent, I have the exousia, the authority. That's how you build entrepreneurship in the kingdom.
Yeah.
Because the world say you got to have this, you got to have that, you got to have this, and fail to realize that's not the systematic way the kingdom works.
And you let all that fear, that anxiety, that worry, just cash you out, cash you away. And at the end of the day, that's how to be an entrepreneur in the kingdom. And that's why I said that process of, breaking yourself from the world system
Mm-hmm.
and operating fully in who you are from
Mm-hmm.
a spiritual
Mm-hmm.
realm. Like you said, I have that exousia authority.
Yeah.
Dunamis allows
And
things
you got to
flow
learn
to
how to
me.
work it.
You got to learn how to work
That's
it.
how you learn
You
how to
have
work
learn
the
to
word.
work.
And we
Yeah.
don't quote it here.
Yes.
We have to learn every day. How do I live it?
Yeah.
How do I work it? You know, even when I'm feeling down, the joy of the Lord is my strength.
Yes.
It ain't my strength. Dunamis is his miraculous strength, his miraculous power, his miraculous ability, his miraculous mighty works at hand.
Yeah.
So we don't have a business. We have a life in the kingdom.
And many people, like you said, that flow, when you have that royalty mindset, things are supposed to flow to you. And many believers, struggle a lot with money and the mindset of money and feeling like we have to suffer in certain areas. And it's not about a dollar amount, but it's about your mindset of understanding that things are supposed to, flow to you. Money is just a means of transaction. It has no affection, to be honest, whether it's I have little, whether I have a lot, it's just a means of transaction. And we put so much emphasis on, well, this Christian is thriving in the kingdom and they just are doing some certain things. I mean, we put too much affection on that.
And most Christians work their business, rather it's more so for the kingdom, because they're working for money.
Yeah.
Many pastors opened up the church because they want to build parishioners to get the money.
Mm-hmm.
Banks are doing very well building big edifices for pastors because that's where the money comes. When they see the cosmos, when they see the edifice, I want to be a part of that. They don't know what they're preaching. They don't know what it is. I want to be attached to good things.
Yeah.
People want nice imagery. But in the kingdom, Jesus didn't look good, but he had the power.
Yeah.
He did not look good. He was not in his Maserati. He did not have the finest suit on. He looked like a regular Joe Blow who was rich as heck, but you would never know him. When he was on that cross, he looked a mess, but he did never let his glory be revealed, because if they really would have saw what he really was and who he was and how he really looked, they wouldn't have never touched him.
And I firmly, I remember, because we have different gifts and talents that helps us be successful as entrepreneurs.
I thank God for you, because I could never do what you do. Hallelujah.
But God even has to humble me. And I was on an interview, and I remember talking to someone that we were talking about faith-based businesses and things like that. And I was telling them, I firmly remember when God was like, if you make this all about the money aspect, I will shut it down. And and most people don't even allow God to convict them in that area. Like, wait, what you mean? But it was like, I would shut it down. And the truth of the matter is that even if all of it crumbled tomorrow, I would be okay, knowing to begin again and to start again. But it's even that, knowing that you can't put your affection in the dollar amount. But as we grow, I feel like we grow based upon what we can handle, whether it's financially, whether it's team-wise, whether it's our communication. There's no way, that 5 years ago, God could have just dropped a big lump sum or say, hey, handle all these people in Dunamis Women University and all stuff. We wouldn't have survived, because there were things that had to get in place in order for our lives. And I think that we've allowed ourselves to go through the metamorphosis process, mentally, emotionally, relationship-wise, spiritually.
And it's always a process.
Yes.
By the time you get this, you're going through another process.
Yes.
Ariel, in closing, if you all know that you're going through your process, put in the comment section or chat, I'm going through my process. I'm going through my process, because, and I'm saying this to ask you to do so, because there's a process that you go through for the kingdom before he places you in the kingdom.
Yes.
Ariel, I've been an entrepreneur all my life, and I've raised you all from an entrepreneurial spirit, but he still had to take me through processes that was for his kingdom before he put me in the kingdom. And you cannot have processes without failure.
No.
It's part of the success process. And many people just want to go straight on up, put it up, and don't even think you're coming down. But I thank God for the processes that even when in the kingdom, I still had to become a base, only to know, as Apostle Paul said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. Whether I'm a base or whether I'm abounding. So everybody has their process. Now, the clearance rack is, you ain't got to go through some of that for the kingdom. I've taken the brunt. Whether I'm your mama naturally, whether I'm your mama spiritually, whether I'm your spiritual leader, whether I'm whatever, because titles don't roll in the kingdom.
Yeah.
It's just who we are. Well, we thank you for joining us. Ariel, any closing things? Because we done said it.
No.
We done said
That is it.
We love you, and we'll see you on the next episode. Well, I really, really enjoyed that episode, How to Be an Entrepreneur in the Kingdom of God. Why? Because it truly is a lifestyle. Now, I could go on and on and on and tell you so many things about this lifestyle, because as the old folks always says to me, baby, I'm not new here, but I grew here. But one thing I definitely want you to know, I resonate with Apostle Paul said in the book of Philippians. Regardless, I'm a base, or regardless if I'm abounding, I know that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. No, it is not your strength. Know that it is nothing of yourself. Dunamis has a miraculous strength that will cause you to produce no matter what. You may have little money, you may have little food, you may have little funds, you may have little confidence, you may have little of everything, but you can do it because of the strength that has been placed on the inside of you. And then you may see yourself abounding. You may see things happening, but it doesn't change the concept that dunamis power, strength, and miraculous force has been placed on the inside of you. So I want to encourage you. Let your dreams flow. Let your visions flow through you, and let your soul constantly come to a healing place in Christ, that whatever he shows you, whatever he speaks to you, whatever he reveals to you, no matter what, you can do it. I'm Pastor D, and I thank you.
In this episode, we had mentioned a little bit about submitting to the vision, and I explained how I submitted to the vision that God has given my mother as a leader and the founder of Dunamis Woman. However, if there is not anyone in your life as you're fulfilling entrepreneurship and God has given you a vision, I really want to encourage you to know that you're going to have to submit to not just the vision that God has given you, but the process of being made into the vision that he has given you. Many times we believe that God has given us something and we don't have to be made into it. Dunamis is our vision. Dunamis is what God has given us. It belongs to God, meaning that we go through a process to become dunamis. Whatever it is that God has given you, whatever that name is, there are some things that you have to go through to be made into that. So although you believe that entrepreneurship is just going to come with all this provision, first you have to be made into the vision. And once you get made into the vision, now you can be able to execute off of who you are and the process that God has taken you through.